Hello, my friends of BUDO TV Online. Today we have a new BUDO interview with one of the most prominent Aikido senseis in the world, at least in my opinion. I'm talking about Sensei Leo Tamaki from France. Sensei, thank you very much for accepting this interview with us. It's the second time because the first one had some issues with the image or whatever, but we try to do it again. So thank you so much for accepting this second interview with us and be present here on BUDO TV Online.
My pleasure.
So, Sensei, we start always the interview with the same question. When and where do you start your training in martial arts?
Yes, so I start with judo when I was a kid. My father is Japanese and my mother is from Croatia. And when I was a kid, she thought that it would be good for me to do something from the culture of my father. And so she brought me to judo when I was 6. This was my first steps.
Nice. So you start with judo.
Yes.
And then you move to another martial arts, or?
I had various practice along the years. So mainly kung fu and karate. So when I was 12 years old, I saw my first movie with Bruce Lee and then Jackie Chan. I wanted to do kung fu, and then I thought kung fu was very good, very efficient, but the style was a bit too sophisticated for me. I like something more straight, more simple, and that's why I turned to karate. And well, along the year, I had a lot of cross training. But mostly at 21, I met Aikido. I wanted to do something on the side of karate. I went to Aikido dojo. The teacher brought me my first week of Aikido practice. He brought me to a seminar with Tamura Nobuyoshi Sensei, one of the prominent students of Ueshiba Morihei. And that was it. You know, I was hooked, and I'm still practicing Aikido more than 25 years later now.
Wow. How was your experience when you meet Tamura Sensei?
So, to tell the truth, I was a bit cocky. I was 21, in very good physical shape, and I was thinking that karate was, the best. You always think like this when you're 21. And so, very sharp, I went there, and I see this little old man. Not so old now that I'm 46 now, and he was 61. So now I think he was quite young. But at the time, when I was 21, I thought, oh, this is a very old man. And he was small built. But then at one point during the seminar, he came close to me, took me as okay, and then for 2 to 3 minutes, he wiped the tatami with me. And I was really shocked because I was in such a better shape than he was, much bigger frame, and I was so shocked that in about 2 or 3 months, I totally stopped karate, changed my life, and went full on for Aikido. So I started, and at the time I practiced 27 to 29 hours of classes of Aikido a week, plus my personal training, and then 1 year and a half later, I flew with a one-way ticket to Japan.
Mm-hmm. And that's another question that I have for you. How was your experience training in the home dojo?
Okay, I have to tell the truth. I was very disappointed. Tamura Sensei was everything I expected and more. He embodied the image of Miyagi-san. He's a little old Japanese guy, doesn't talk much, and he kicks your ass very easily. So I thought, okay, in Japan I would find much more of this, and I went to Hombu Dojo. So I took everything I had, all my money, and I could only afford a one-way ticket. And when I arrived, my first class was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was so shocked because at the time there was no internet, no YouTube, no nothing. So I built everything in my mind. I expected there to be ninja school, camp for samurai. But no, I mean, this is Hombu Dojo, but I forgot how many people, but maybe like 20 or something. And many university students, some old guys, and some people from the neighborhood, and they practice, it was just a leisure for them, but for me it was my life. I was, I wanted to put everything I had, and yeah. So at first I was disappointed, but I had no money to come back to France. So that was a good thing because I had to stay. I found a job, and I went to practice there every day, once or twice, and it gave me the chance to meet many of the direct students of the founder. At the time, I think that on the higher floors there was only one guy who was not direct student of Ueshiba Morihei giving class. So I practiced with Tada Sensei, Ichihashi Sensei, Arikawa Sensei, Sasaki Sensei, Matsuda Sensei, and so on. And so at the time, once again, no internet, so no information about other styles. I knew there was some, and everybody thinks his teacher is the best. So everybody in my group in France told me, Tamara Sensei, he's the number one, and blah, blah. Then I arrived there, and I find a way to do things differently, but efficiently. And this was a very, very good lesson. I discovered that you have to be more open-minded, and you can be efficient with different approach. I would say now, about 25 years later, the feeling is quite different. So at the time, what was disappointing for me was the level of the student. But the teacher, first class. Nowadays, the teachers do their best, but this is really not the same level. And it's not because they were not students of the founder, because of course now it's impossible. He's dead half a century ago. The problem is that Japan is such a peaceful country now that people there have no notion about what is violence. So their only image is the movie and the manga. So it's full of fantasy, and even if you're down to earth, you're still in a world of fantasy there. One thing that I always say is that for me, the teacher who have the highest level, even among the students of Ueshiba Morihei, are the ones who went abroad. Because when they arrived, whether in the United States, in Europe, and so on, they were tested, they were pushed, and they had to push back. But in Japan, after Second World War, everybody was against violence. They threw the armor, they threw the katana, they sold it for a buck, and they want nothing more to have to do with violence. The defeat was such an incredible shock, defeat in the Second World War, especially 2 atomic bombs and everything. So people who were doing martial arts were at one point only right-wing extremists and some thugs, doing Jisen karate, real karate, so Kyokushin karate and so on. But for most people, and especially in Aikido, there is no fight, no understanding of what violence is, and blah blah blah, and everybody was taking ukemi for, you just flip your hand and they would do a salto. So the teacher who are now 50, 60 and so on, their level is very different from the pre-war student or just after the war, and especially very different from the one who went abroad. So there is nobody in my mind that could be compared to Yamada Sensei, Saotome Sensei, Chiba Sensei, Tamura Sensei, Kanai Sensei, Sugano Sensei, and so on. So the one who stayed in Japan, some were very, very skillful, there is no doubt. But the situation was such that they didn't have to be so sharp. And the next generation who were trained in the 70s, even less sharp, you know. So yeah.
Yes, I completely agree with you because I know for a fact that many of the Japanese senseis that came here to the United States at the beginning they were tested because many people don't believe in Aikido. They say, okay, show me if this works in real life. You know, it's different. And I know Japan now is very peaceful. You say it's very true. And in your case, you have the chance not only to meet Aikido senseis, you have the chance to meet another sensei for other martial arts when you were in Japan?
So, okay, I went to live in Japan in '98. Before, because my father is Japanese, I went there a couple of times. But I lived there for 3 straight years, then went back to France, but I went like twice a year in Japan, and then again from 2007 to 10, again 3 years, and since I go there, let's say once or twice a year. So during these 2 period of 3 years, I went to see many different teachers. I practiced Kyokushin Karate for a while, and I also went to meet many Daitoryu teachers from different schools, and teacher from Kenjutsu and so on. I had the chance to work for a martial arts magazine during 2007 to 10. And I met a lot of them, interviewed them, spent time with them. And the one whom I had the closest relationship were Hino Akira, Kono Yoshinori, Kuroda Tetsuzan, and Akuzawa Minoru. These were the 4 that had the biggest impact on my thinking and my practice. So yeah, it was a very good experience.
And these last senseis that you mentioned here, they practice what, Daitoryu or what are the arts?
Okay, so Hino Akira, his background is first Shitoryu Karate, and then he went to meet a teacher of many different styles, and he was very inspired by Okamoto Seigo from Daitoryu and Shioda Gozo from Kishinkai-Aikido. And what is very interesting with Hino Akira is the body mechanics that he is using. He developed a system where the connection, the torque, and the use of the sternum, kyokotsu, and the weight in the knees, and the use of the elbow. Well, everything is mixed in such a way that with somebody with a small frame, you can generate big power. And he's a jazz musician, and he developed many sensitivity exercise. So, for example, how to feel and connect your partner. And I have to say, he's got the best grab I have ever met. It's like, you know, you have plastic kitchen paper wrapping around you, no power, you don't feel it, but he feels everything you do, you cannot feel him, it's really good. After I met also Kono Yoshinori Sensei, he was at first practicing Aikido with Yamaguchi. And then he went and visited a lot of different teachers also, especially Koryu, and he got Menkyo Kaiden in Shuriken school. So his openness and his will to explore any schools was really inspiring, because he's in Japan, because you don't have to prove anything now, you know, there is no competition, so it's just who's got the biggest mouth. Everybody says, okay, I'm doing the best, blah, blah, blah. But he's always curious. Even now, he's 70 and he's so open, and he's really inspiring for his attitude about not criticizing and looking for what is interesting here and there. Kuroda Sensei, so he was practicing 4 schools of Jujutsu, Kenjutsu, Yaijutsu, and Dojutsu. So it was very well. His body mechanic was very interesting. He moves very well. The kata that he transmitted were also very interesting because it allowed me to do a kind of martial archaeology to see how the techniques were done in the past, how it evolved, and then I completed this process by going to see the annual gathering on temple in the Tokyo Budokan and such. And there was also Akuzawa Minoru. So Akuzawa Minoru, he studied with a practitioner of Koryu, I think it was Yagyu Shingan, but I'm not sure. And also he practiced Daitoryu with Sagawa Yukiyoshi, and he practiced Chinese martial arts. And he also built a method who allows to generate big power and receive power and such. So with Akuzawa Sensei, I didn't practice so long, I should say, and but also the process of him thinking about what he's doing and working on the method and such was very inspiring.
It's amazing because you have the chance to meet a lot of people whose visions were similar in some way, but different in other ways. And to complement a little bit what you are doing in your practice, in your personal practice. And now I would like to, for the people that are going to watch this interview, talk to us about the Kishinkai, your school of Aikido. Because many people maybe don't know about this. And after this, many people will find out and maybe they want to reach to you. What is Kishinkai? Is your personal way of doing Aikido? Is a school? Is an organization? Please explain about this.
Okay. Before I go on this topic, I forgot to mention 2 other teachers that I met that could interest you, who were Kondo Katsuyuki from Daitoryu.
Wow.
That was very interesting. I spent a day with him, half a day, but and I went to see him again later. And he's quite a character, and he's got an incredible collection. He's got the boken of Takeda Sokaku. He's got weapons from Yamaoka Teshu. His calligraphy, very interesting, and also Okamoto Seigo, Daitoryu master. And wow. I interviewed him and I went to see him 3 times, I think. At first, I really thought, when I only saw video of him, I thought it was fake. But he's one of the best technicians that I ever met. Unfortunately, some of his uke are overplaying, so it makes him look bad. But I felt his technique firsthand, and he was really, really good. And also, of course, I met people who are now active, like Irie Sensei from Kokodo Jujutsu, Kawabe Sensei from Daitoryu. So there are still some great masters. The level of the student in Japan now is even lower than it was in '98. But that's not so important if you know that. Don't expect that your partner will be very good. Usually some are, but most are not. But there are still some first-hand teachers, but they are in their 70s. So hurry, because the next generation, who is now 60 or 50, there is such a gap that I think it will not be worthwhile to go to Japan to train with them. You will have people who are as skilled or more skilled in outside Japan.
Wow.
So for Kishinkai, thank you for asking. Kishinkai is a school that I built and is now the 7th year. Yeah, 7th year. So I trained with Tamura Sensei until he died. But I started my own research because there is Shu, Ha, Ri, the step. And I was already in Ha. still am, when he was alive, and I think he took pleasure in seeing me going here and there. He asked me who I went to see, what I thought about this, and when he died, I didn't find the same inspiration with other teachers. Doesn't mean that we are not good. There are some really good teachers, but working in different direction. And I was already 36. I was practicing martial art for 30 years. And so although I kept going as a student with different teachers, Shino, Kono, Kuroda, Irie, and so on, but I thought it was time that I go and do my research and do it my own way. And some students start to gather around me, and after a while, they told me, "Well, listen, Leo, we left this federation or this group to practice with you, but now we don't have any group, official group to belong to." So I said, okay, and so at first it was informal, and then to respond to the demand of the students, I built the official organization, Kishinkai, and Kishinkai means to study the group who study happily, so study, practice, enjoy. Now we have more than 30 dojo in 11 countries, 600 students in every continent except the Pole. And what is important for us is to keep a martial logic. Very often, traditional martial arts, they go far from the martial efficiency. And it's okay, I can understand that you only practice as mental and physical exercise just to educate yourself, and that's okay. For myself, still, I think that if somebody chooses a martial art instead of dance or yoga, he is still interested by the efficiency, even though it can be a small part. And I also think that the art didn't make its proof without going through this process where you try to be efficient. Because our first fear is the fear for our physical integrity and the physical integrity of our loved ones. So even though this is only the first step, the first fear you have to get rid of, I don't think you can skip this step. You have to take this step, and then there is the next steps where you work deeper on yourself and so on. So this is not the ultimate goal, but the tool that we use must be is martial art and must be martially logic. So logic in the situation, logic in the attack, logic in the technique, the logic in the way you receive it.
I completely agree with you, because that's one of the most important things in your practice. In case that people want to reach to you and they want to know about where you're training, because I'm going to put here, guys, for everybody who's watching this, in the description of this video, I'm going to put the website and the link of the Sensei's Instagram and Facebook account, and how I said before, the website, so you can contact. This is cool. But the people that want to, maybe when they open everything related with this COVID situation, I want to visit you in France. Where is your dojo located? In what city? And all the information they need to know.
Yeah, I am giving classes in Paris, regular class during the week. But I'm traveling 220 days a year to give seminars around the world. So I go, as I say, in every continent. I go in the United States, I go in Canada, I go in South America, of course Europe, North Africa, Asia, and in New Caledonia, so close to Australia. So thinking somebody can catch me somewhere. So there is my blog, leotamaki.com, and there is a seminar column. And also, we have a Facebook page for Kishinkai International, but we are building now a site only for Kishinkai, and there will be some links that people would be able to follow.
Oh, perfect. So when you have ready that website, send me the link so I will
With pleasure.
post it again. And so everybody's watching this, if you see it in any country or you find out in his blog about any seminar, go there because you're going to learn a lot. I guarantee that. You're going to learn a lot. And I have a question related with a subject that we talked in the other interview that we could not publish because the technical issues. We talked about the white hakama. Remember about that subject? Because that was a big issue when I found out about you in the Facebook. It was a big buzz about your photos using a white hakama. The same happens to me many years ago because when I used to train Dai Ryu, my sensei talked to me about the white hakama and how everything was manipulated regarding to the white hakama. So I want to give you this chance here in this interview. So many people are going to see this interview, especially a lot of people from different countries. I'm from Cuba, where I'm from. They could know the truth regarding the white hakama. So please, I give you now the chance to explain to everybody the truth behind the white hakama.
Okay. I want to put a broader picture. So a lot of things that we are doing now are inherited in Japanese martial art come from European armies. So the fact that we have the same clothes, that we line and we all do the same movement and so on, these are coming from training that the Japanese military received from the French, German, and English army that they called it the Meiji era. So in the past, dojo is usually a building adjacent to the house of the sensei or part, depending on the size. And you could go there any time of the day. You practice what you are told to, sometimes with senpai, sometimes alone, so on, and with your own clothes, So there is no special uniform. The hakama, the kimono, this is your daily clothes. So you don't have a special uniform color that you have to put on. It's the same way when you go to the gym. You are not asked to have the same, black short pants and white t-shirt. And before the war, everybody used black, white, brown, blue, gray, and so on. After the war, what happens is that there is a shortage of everything and a shortage of clothes. So people would use everything they can put their hand on. So a curtain, tablecloth, and dye it dark blue and use it like this. So you would almost not see white hakama because it was expensive and hard to keep clean. So the situation make it usual to have black or blue, but this is not a rule, and you can see a lot of Ueshiba Morihei students who are using white hakama until his last demonstration. There is an unknown guy, unknown to me, who's taking ukemi, and he's got a white hakama. Most of the famous masters, you can see them with a white hakama at one point or another, and some use also black jacket like Abe Tadashi or Mochizuki Kiminoru and so on. Saito Sensei used white hakama, and so this is not because people only saw people of higher level use white hakama, so in their mind they build the idea that this was for the higher level, but this really was not. So when I started, I heard the same stories, it's only for 10th dan or blah, 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 blah. I was okay. But then after a while, I searched and found out that no, everybody can wear, So When I'm going in a special dojo, I follow the rule. So if they say you don't put hakama if you're not this grade, I don't put it. If they say you put it this color, I put it this color. But in my school, people can use the color that they want. This is what is traditional, you know. And even the use of hakama, because now it is said in many schools that it's just, for such a level and so on. But the fact is, my teacher, Tamura Sensei, told me the story that he had some. He was teaching to the university amongst other dojo, and some of his students had no money. So he personally asked the second dojo, Yoshibaki Shomaru, if he would make an exception for his students not to bring hakama until they were shodan. This was an exception because before everybody had to put on the hakama, and I think it's Saotome Sensei in one of his books who explains that it was a rule that everybody had to put on the hakama. So Shomaru, he was a very human guy, decent guy, and he accepted that as an exception. Okay, because your students are broke, they can come without hakama. But very soon it became also a rule, you know, so a kind of lollipop. No, you cannot put hakama. It's only for this level and so on. Which is
everything starts related with the hakama to the shodan level. To everybody here knows about this. Everybody watching this interview is start as an economic situation because they don't have money to pay at that moment the hakama. So now you guys are receiving two clarifications here. You're receiving the clarification about the white hakama, and you're receiving the clarification regarding the hakama to the shodan level, which was not the same thing they used in the beginning. They changed everything with time, and now everybody thinks it's a rule, but it's mandatory, but it was not. When Uchiha was alive, everybody was, you must used to wear hakama. And I see pictures with gray hakamas, different colors, and just wear the hakama. It's part of the budo. I mean, it's in my school, I know the rules of shodan level or not. You enter and you can wear your hakama because it's part of the, your wear. It's part of your training. It's part of budo in general. So that for me, I think was important to be clarified here in this interview. And before we finish, I would like to talk about another sensei. I don't know if your family, because you keep your same last name, Isai Tamaki sensei. Is related with you, or is part of your family?
Yeah, he's my younger brother. He's 5 years younger, and he's the guy with whom I practiced the most. Actually, I even saw him again today. So one thing only he didn't do was judo, because he was younger than me. And when I started Kung Fu, he started with me, and then we followed the path in parallel. And such a great guy. We have different temperament and different body, and so it really completes. He's one of the co-founder of the Kishinkai, and his specialty is the weapon, especially his sword, and he moves, so smoothly. We practice very much with each other. We gave a seminar together in Vermont last year, which was really well received and a big pleasure. And we can practice with each other, eyes closed, going full on. I mean, not because we are so used to what the other is going to do, but because we are so confident that the other will manage, and that even if he doesn't, there will not be long hard feelings. So yeah, incredible partner, friend, brother.
That's great. Please extend my invitation to him in case he wants to be also part of this interview. The door is open for him. I would love to interview him for the channel. and he could give us his point of view of training and everything, talk about weapons, sword. I think that would be amazing for our channel because we are trying to, open the door for everybody to see different point of views, not only different martial arts or styles, is to see different point of views because my opinion is you're always learning for everybody. In every moment you're learning, and that's one of the key points in Budo and life at the same time, because Budo is life itself. So that's for our channel, it would be a great honor having him here and in the interview, so we can talk about a little bit about him. And if you want to say something before we finish, any message you want to give to any practitioners, any people who maybe going to start the training now in Aikido, or they are thinking about start the training in Aikido or any martial art, what would be your message to these people?
Okay, the start is really the most important. Because if you have a bad experience at the start, then you think that the guy you meet defines the art, which is not the case. So it's really best to take your time when you want to start. So what I mean about this is first know why you want to practice. What is your goal? It may change, but you have to know why you want to practice. If your goal is to learn about Eastern philosophy, it's good. If your goal is to lose weight, it's good. If your goal is to have friends, good. Self-defense, good. But if you want to learn self-defense and you go to see Aikido teacher who is again on Eastern philosophy, or the opposite, you are interested in philosophy and you go to see a cop who is twisting arms and interested in martial efficiency, then you will not be satisfied. So know what you're looking for, find the right teacher. And what I mean by the right teacher is a teacher who is teaching according to the way you are learning things. So if you need explanation, go to a teacher who gives explanation. If you are more one who likes to experience and you don't want too much talk, then find also this. So take your time, find a good teacher, and then you can go on. Because if you just choose the most convenient, the closest one, then you may be disappointed.
So in one sentence, it would be choose wisely. That would be the main teaching here. Sensei, thank you so much for the chance, and I hope we'll repeat this interview. We could do another one, maybe in the future.
It will be a pleasure.
And
thank you for the invitation.
No, my pleasure. It was a great honor for me. Something like I wish for a long time, and we could do it. And I invite you in case you do any seminar, any event. You can share it here in our channel. You can film, or maybe one of your students film something and send us, and we could promote it here, and people have a more big vision about what you're doing. And everybody's watching this interview, please share it, subscribe to the channel, invite your students and your friends to subscribe to grow a little bit more this project that is Budo TV Online. And Sensei, once again, thank you so much for everything. And
thank you very much.
And a big hug and hello to your students, to your brother, and everybody's related with the Kishinkai. I see you guys in the next interview. Please share this, give us a like, because help us a lot with this project. And I see you in the next one. Blessings to you all. Gasho. Thank you, Sensei. I see you in the next one.